Um, Football, huh?
Yeah, what about it?
Let's get our guest Chimes in here. What do you say?
Yeah, bring him in. We got a
I'll
guest
bring him
caller
in right
coming
now.
in. We'll start talking about the Giants while we're waiting for our
Oh, he's
guest to come
here.
in. Here he is.
What's up,
Well,
Chimes?
How you doing, guys?
all right, we're here talking football. We had to bring in a guest. You already know we're missing a big piece of the podcast, Matt McKillop. So Chimes is filling in a little bit. He'll also be
He's
a
his
guest.
replacement.
He'll also be a guest for basketball,
Second string.
hopefully in the future too.
Got my Jets sweatshirt on. You already know.
All right. Well, we're going to start with the Giants here first. So try and leave your bias out of it here. All right.
All right.
So starting with free agency, we heard Gettleman and Mara have a press conference. Offense to surround Daniel Jones will be the priority. That means wide receivers, a healthy Saquon, hopefully some O-line, and who knows, maybe even a second tight end in the draft in Kyle Pitts. But starting with free agency.
Second tight end. We're moving Ingram immediately.
But you know that's not going to happen. As much as every New York fan hates him,
Nah, it'll happen. I
It's
honestly,
not
if
going
we
to
take
happen.
Pitts, it's gonna happen. I don't.
I
see why it
disagree. I
wouldn't
think they
happen.
run a two receiver.
Why would we waste $7.5 million? Makes zero sense.
Because they love Evan Ingram. At the end of the day, they think he can be a superstar, even though it's been proven false.
Okay, then take his deal, trade him. It's the same thing. We're saving money regardless.
He doesn't have much value, and they want him to be.
So we can get a 6th-round pick out of him. I don't care.
They got to get anything
think
from
he's
him.
It's either cut him. It's either cut him or trade him for something.
Listen, I'm telling you, the Giants believe his value is a top 5 tight end. Now, it doesn't matter that we disagree with that. We do disagree with that. The entire NFL disagrees with that. But they want him to be a superstar playmaker, which everybody knows he cannot be because he cannot make a routine.
Except for whoever voted in the Pro Bowl.
He's got shitty hands too.
Yeah.
Come
He
on.
made it over Robert Tonyan. Are you serious?
All right, but let's talk about Giants free agents. We'll talk about the draft in a little bit. You got, I think it's obviously a no.
Leonard Williams, top priority.
Leonard Williams,
Had to be
top
said immediately.
priority. He's re-signed. He's going to be making close to, he's probably 17 to 20, but the guy at 11 sacks as an interior lineman, you're not letting him go, which unfortunately does mean Dalvin Tomlinson will likely be gone, especially considering the Giants' recent cap struggles. They're projected.
No, you can find ways around getting both of them for sure.
I mean, I don't think the Saints are going to have a problem with it either, but as of now, the Giants are projected to have negative.
Oh, well, the Saints will definitely have way more of an issue than the Giants will have.
Yeah, no, the Saints have the biggest issue in the NFL.
The Saints have an issue, but you have to remember they have guys hired to work around this between restructures, trades, and cutting guys.
Well, let's put it like this.
But they built
this cap space goes with Drew Brees not retiring. This takes Drew Brees' contract to the next year.
But regardless of whether he retires or not, they still have to pay him.
They made their team based off Drew Brees and his contract. So they gave players all these contracts that they cannot pay out.
And
yeah, exactly.
But
another thing is,
they're going to lose so many players.
Them. They deserve them, 100%. Every single one of those players that they signed deserves the money they're getting.
They're going to restructure Drew Brees. They're going to be paying him till he's 50. They're probably going to restructure Michael Thomas. They're probably going to restructure why am I blanking on his name right now?
Alvin Kamara.
They're another defensive
Cameron
Jordan. Thank you. They're probably going to restructure him. They're going to cut some defensive guys.
They're going to have to.
But I don't really.
Is Marshall Lattimore still on his rookie deal?
I don't know. You look that up for us. Still, let us know. But anyway, back to the Giants. You got obviously we're re-signing Leonard Williams. I think they let Dalvin Tomlinson go. You don't need 3 good defensive tackles. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's pretty factual. You don't need Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Dalvin Tomlinson. Incoming free agents, Yannick Ngakoue, a guy that the Giants were very high on this past season but didn't make a push for him. You got Leonard Floyd, not Shaq Barrett, I'm sorry. Barrett from the Buccaneers. You got Bud Dupree coming off an ACL injury.
Shaq Barrett?
Did I not?
You said Barrett from the Buccaneers.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought you said not Shaq Barrett. My mistake.
Anyways, Bud Dupree coming off an ACL injury. I'm taking him off the Giants board at this point. I don't see them taking too much of a risk especially when they don't have too much money to work with. They need a guy they know can produce off the edge. But I see Shaq Barrett and Yannick Ngakoue as potential suitors for that edge spot. And now just going back to needs, obviously receiver, my opinion, tight end, another lineman, and an edge rusher, and that's all the Giants need to be a playoff contender.
I would say you need to get Hunter Henry at a free agency. He's valued very low right now. You draft Devonta Smith, and then you become an offensive powerhouse right there.
Right, but
We don't-
Hunter.
That's
other
your
issue
dream
is we don't
situation.
have like the Jets
Okay,
money. where we can
I
just
know
throw money in.
Dylan-
Like, we have other needs besides
Dylan
tight end, and
disagrees.
it's more priority these other needs are at.
Dylan
sure.
disagrees with me on this, but I'm in favor. You sign Leonard Williams, you sign Yannick Ngakoue, or Shaq Barrett. I prefer Shaq Barrett. Yannick is fine. Yannick didn't produce as much as I thought he would with the Ravens.
Different system.
Yeah,
Right.
he
He's
was-
still a talented player at the end of the day. And I think you go into the draft, I would sign a receiver. If you have the money, I'm all on board getting Kenny Golladay. I think he can be a top 8 receiver with a good offense. And I think you go in the draft and you sign, I think you draft, I think Kyle Pitts. I'm very high on Kyle Pitts. I think he's very talented. He can block well. He's a very talented route runner. He has great hands, and I'm very, very high on Kyle Pitts. If not, if you don't have the money for receiver, you go into the draft. There's 3 very talented generational receivers that you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Waddle,
One of
baby.
the-
Come on. We
one
want
of-
Jalen Waddle in New York.
One of the 3 is bound to be there. I know Dylan's high on
Jalen
he's
Waddle.
high on Jalen Waddle, but at the end of the day, no one's complaining with any of those 3 guys: Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, or Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Three guys that are gonna be phenomenal at the next level.
Agreed.
But something that has been worrying me is I've been seeing Kwity Paye go to the Giants in some mock drafts. I know Dave Gettleman is not someone that sticks to the mock drafts. He always has some surprises up his sleeves. So we're hoping
They're like good surprises.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Gettleman generally drafts pretty well. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think as someone who was high on Haskins, I don't want to criticize Dave Gettleman. You know, you can make the argument Daniel Jones could have been there at 16.
Well, we didn't know Haskins had this work ethic issue and just did not
Right.
care about football anymore.
I think Haskins would have gone either way, but I'm talking about Daniel Jones. If you think he's your guy, you take him, and I agree with that. But some people think he would have been there still at 16.
But you can't rely on other picks, like other
Exactly.
teams.
Just
Exactly.
a risk, and if
They're
that's
not.
your guy,
Exactly, it's a
you
risk.
got to take it.
So we're hoping Dave Gettleman delivers a surprise in the sense that he doesn't stick with the mock drafts and draft Kwity Paye. And he does get us the receiver, especially if he's telling us he's going to be focused on that.
Yeah.
So we just hope and pray for the best. And, that's about all we can do at this point.
This guy, Jeremy Pruitt, he was Tennessee's head coach, just was hired by the Giants. We don't know what his role is going to be yet, so I really have no clue. I think he had some history at Alabama. He probably worked with Judge at Alabama, to be honest. I don't know that off the top of my head, but if I had to assume,
if that's true, I mean, just a guy that Joe Judge obviously wants to bring on board. He's worked with him. He knows him. He knows how Joe Judge runs business, and he's probably not going to have a big role, but a role nonetheless.
You never know.
He can help the Giants. Yeah, you never know. And
could have an impact.
And of course, speaking of roles within the organization, Eli Manning met with Mara, and they talked the possibility of him having a role. Obviously, it's not coaching; it'll probably be something in mentoring. But that could be huge for Daniel Jones and the Giants' offense. Daniel Jones is in his 3rd year. The rule generally is 3 years. You give him 3 years, so he's got to make a big step this year, which I think he is capable of doing. But he has to.
He's definitely shown it.
Turnovers. He has. You see the potential. You see the throws he makes that are very good throws. But you just see sometimes his pocket awareness isn't there. He gets strip sacked. He doesn't know when to run all the time. Sometimes his decision making throwing the ball is a little questionable. And of course, his interception numbers are inflated because of Evan Ingram, who alone has 3 interceptions. Pro Bowl defensive back. But the potential's there. He cleans up the turnovers, and he cleans up his pocket awareness. He takes off when he has to. He stays injury free, and you got a completely different quarterback.
And also, what's the great thing about this is that these are fixable problems. Like, it's not something that's just like you can't fix it all.
Yeah, the arm talent's there. The accuracy on a lot of balls.
That's what you should worry
about.
about.
You look at Evan Ingram's dropped pass versus the Eagles, and again, going back to Evan Ingram's drops and his interceptions, a few of those go Daniel Jones's way, and you're potentially talking about a very different season because the Giants make the playoffs if Evan Ingram catches that football. And who knows? The Giants very easily could have been knocked out by the Buccaneers, but they gave him a great game when they played them in the regular season. So who knows? If they go and upset Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's a whole different morale coming into 2021.
It's also Tom Brady versus the Giants in the playoffs. I don't know if the Giants have ever lost to him in the playoffs.
Exactly.
I don't know.
No, I mean, at least since Eli Manning, they have not.
They have.
And again, back to our point, Daniel Jones. I can't speak for anyone else. He's definitely a breakout candidate for me. I want to see him have 20, 26, 25 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, 5 or 6 rushing touchdowns, and limit the turnovers to about 10 or 12, 10 interceptions. And the biggest issue is the fumbles. If you can keep the fumbles in single digits, I think you have a.
I said we just turn into a whole Josh Allen 2020 year. Just make him go crazy.
Yeah. 2020.
There's always that one quarterback that does it.
2020
Lamar Jackson last year, then 2020, Josh Allen. I feel like next year is going to be Justin Herbert, but
I mean, like Herbert already had his breakout.
Right, that's
the only question.
Herbert already came out and broke all the rookie records along with Justin Jefferson. You're not going to say Justin Herbert's going to break out.
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider him a breakout candidate. If
Justin Herbert goes out and he makes the Pro Bowls, are you going to be surprised?
I would be surprised if he won MVP though. For sure.
MVP, of course. Yeah. Of course, MVP. But
you kidding?
I'm talking about
that's my point.
If the Chargers get enough pieces, he can definitely do that. Like, he has potential to do that.
I think he has a great
Justin Herbert, I think he has all the pieces he needs.
Coaching. It's my bad.
And Derwin James comes back, helps their defense.
Exactly.
They get a better head coach. You never know. They could be a playoff team. He can make the.
Because Anthony Lynn was
horrible.
Absolute dog shit.
Who knows? He could have a top 5 season next year. He could be that guy. Yeah. But yeah, again, my hopes for Daniel Jones is he's a top 12 quarterback next year. We'll see though. Only time will tell. Only time will tell what Gettleman does, how Joe Judge helps develop him, if there's any changes to Jason Garrett's offense, which you're hoping there will be after, we heard that he's going to be staying with the Giants, which I can respect just because you don't want Daniel Jones learning a third offense in 3 years. You need some continuity there. But
one thing I'm concerned about for Daniel Jones is in his rookie year, he had 24 passing touchdowns, and this year he had 11. So
right, and that's a result that he missed.
He did not miss games. He had
he did.
14 games started.
Yeah, he missed 2 games.
He played a game hurt.
And last year he had 12 games started.
So if I were to have a mulligan, I would take away. I mean, I'm looking at this positively. In my mind, I take away the Arizona game. I take away the Arizona game for Daniel Jones because he was clearly hurt. I think that was a poor decision on the part of the coaching. He's clearly hurt, couldn't take off, got sacked, a million times. That was a clear mistake, fumbled a bunch, bad decision-making, didn't look comfortable in the pocket. But the positive you can take from Daniel Jones' season, you look at his second half of the season, it's a tale of 2 totally different quarterbacks. Better decision-making, better throws, just better stats overall. And that's something he can definitely take into 2021. And if he continues on that trend, hopefully he can smooth things out. But so going to the Jets, as a Jets fan, where's your head at with Sam Darnold? We moving on? We sticking with him? We trading for Deshaun Watson? What's the deal here?
I think we should definitely trade for Deshaun Watson, even if we overvalue him and give up like 3 first-rounders for him.
Oh, that's not even overvaluing the guy.
I think that's his value.
No, 3 first-rounders plus Sam Darnold, and then like maybe another 4th rounder. Like, I would definitely do that, 100%.
I mean, the couple questions that I know a lot of people have is, why does Deshaun Watson want to go from one of the worst teams in the NFL to the Jets that were the worst team in the NFL. I know he has Robert Saleh, great coach, was
He
great with
sees
the
the
49ers.
promise.
He loves Robert Saleh.
Exactly.
But
He
the
sees the
thing is,
promise in
what
this
people
team.
have to remember, Deshaun Watson, obviously easily a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
He did struggle a little. He didn't struggle numbers wise. Their team did struggle despite having him. He put up a
But
great
that
season
was the
because
defense.
right, because they had a poor team. And so you look at the Jets, and they're in a similar situation where they need to revamp their team. They need to get pieces, especially if they get Deshaun Watson. They need to get pieces around him. So the question becomes, can the Jets do that both in the draft and in free agency? If they end up getting Deshaun Watson, get him some pieces offensively and defensively to help them compete. And the only problem that arises with the draft is if you trade for Deshaun Watson. I know the Jets have a lot of first round picks, but you're giving up 3 or 4 first round picks, at least 4 picks overall. And those are 4 picks you could use to put guys around a quarterback.
But we have a lot of cap space this year.
Right.
So
exactly.
I think our main target right now is Allen Robinson. He's had shitty quarterbacks. I've been saying this all the time.
He still produces.
In college, he had Christian Hackenberg. Then he went to Jacksonville. He had Blake Bortles.
Christian
He went to the
Hackenberg was
Bears.
a second-round pick, right?
It was like
Sorry?
3rd or 4th, I think.
Like he was dominant in college.
He wasn't that good.
No, but again,
He went to the Jets. He shit the bed.
Allen Robinson
That's besides the point. He's a monster
Yeah,
regardless of
Mitch Trubisky, and he also had Nick Foles on the Bears.
Yeah.
Horrible quarterbacks.
There's no question about it. Allen Robinson has had the most unfortunate quarterbacking play of any top receiver, and he is still undoubtedly a top 8 receiver in the NFL.
And if you give him a good quarterback, I think he'll be deadly.
Absolutely. And, that's why you never know. The Jets get Allen Robinson. They trade for
CJ
Deshaun
Mosley
Watson.
back.
You get CJ Mosley back. You sign some guys defensively. Hopefully draft a couple second, third rounders that can start and help the Jets. You never know, but you always have to have a backup plan. And I think if they don't get Deshaun Watson, if he ends up going to the Dolphins or the Colts or just some other team, I think they do ultimately move on from Sam Darnold.
Definitely.
But
I think we should definitely draft Justin Fields because I feel like Darnold's career is ruined, honestly.
I'm not a big fan of Justin Fields. I'm not a big fan.
I'm not really either, but I would rather have him than Darnold or Zach Wilson.
Would you? That's not what you want to take with your second pick, though. It's not.
Yeah, the problem I have with that, I don't want to settle with my second pick. If I'm not satisfied with any of the quarterbacks, you just give Darnold the year. You don't expect much from him. He has a great year. Great. You move on with Sam Darnold. If he doesn't, then you take the quarterback you want the next season, because obviously if Sam Darnold doesn't play well, the Jets aren't going anywhere. They're going to have another top pick.
Or just take.
I
like Zach Wilson.
I
don't think
I like
Zach
him better
Wilson's
than Justin Fields.
I don't think
Justin
Fields proved to me that he could be NFL ready.
Justin Fields,
he tore up Clemson
down the field. Yeah, sure. I guess you can just throw
Justin Fields does have trouble. This is one of his cons. Everyone agrees. He has trouble surveying the field.
Definitely.
A lot of times he stares down his first option, and that's where he goes. I'd say that about 80% of the time he does that. And that's going to be a problem in the NFL. So he has to improve on that a little bit. The arm strength's there. The accuracy's there.
With the Jets O-line, you can't even get to the second option because you're going to get sacked.
It's his decision-making and his ability to scan the field. So
maybe Penei Sewell, that second pick, huh? What do you think?
I think it's a reach. We can definitely trade down.
Yeah, that's also another point I have. You trade down, you get another pick.
I would not mind that at all.
He's going to go to the Bengals if you guys don't take him.
Definitely. Because the Bengals have a quarterback.
Yeah, no, and they need
they're set on offense. Besides, line.
So another thing we didn't talk about, schedules were released. I honestly did not take a look at the Jets schedule. We'll have
it's pretty easy.
Matthew on top of that, but I know the Giants schedule is quite easy, and just going through it, I expect if we have a good offseason, at least 9-7 for this Giants team. Because at some point, you got to look at a schedule. It's easy. You got to expect Daniel Jones to step up. The defense is already there. James Bradbury, absolutely phenomenal season. Leonard Williams, absolutely phenomenal season. Logan Ryan, a great surprise for the Giants, which was a late sign. Jabril Peppers played absolutely phenomenal. They have some holes at linebacker. which is very clear. You got Blake Martinez, a tackling machine. You don't really have a coverage linebacker, but you live with that when your secondary is very good, and hopefully you get a good edge rusher and you have a great interior line. But just looking at the Giants schedule, which hold on, I'm trying to pull up right now.
I got the Jets schedule up for 2021. You want to go through it?
Yeah, read that off. Read that off.
All right, so this is in no particular order. So obviously they're playing Buffalo twice.
Yep.
You think that's a sweep?
Yeah.
Who?
The Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely not. I think they get swept.
Yeah.
But again, this is all.
You got to be realistic.
The Jets are somebody though.
They have a ton of money though. Like
they have a ton of money, and if you get Deshaun Watson and you have a great,
it all depends on the offseason.
Exactly, but as of right now,
definitely not.
You're not thinking that they have Deshaun Watson. You're just thinking they have an average offseason. You got it. That's a clean.
That's going to be like another 3-13
back to the
season.
AFC chip again. They're a good team. All right, Miami. I honestly think you guys could split.
Yeah, they could definitely steal a game from them.
Tua is not the quarterback.
Steal a game is correct. But that's besides the point. Anything like a blowout or by any means, nothing like that. It would be late game comeback, like field goal to win the game.
New England, I definitely think we're definitely going to win one game. I don't know about the next one because the Jets are always inconsistent and they always play down to their competition. And sometimes they play up to their competition, like the Rams this year.
Yeah, I mean the Browns game, you got to hold your horses on a little bit. They were virtually missing every single one of their players that could catch a football due to COVID. But again, the
Jaguars.
New England,
the Rams, they had everyone healthy.
No, the Rams, 100%. I agree. The Jets played a great game versus the Rams.
What are we doing against the Jags? They're a very similar team.
That's easy win.
You never know with Trevor Lawrence. I mean. He's another team like New England. Yeah. If they go out and get Matt Stafford, who I think could be I think that would be kind of scary with Bill Belichick and Matt Stafford on that team. If they go out and get him, you never know. That could be another team that competes for the division, and all of a sudden, AFC East is maybe the best.
All your predictions right now, Chimes. You have them beating Jacksonville.
I think so.
Okay. Tennessee.
That's a loss. New Orleans is a loss. Tampa Bay is a loss. I mean, it all depends on the offseason, but going based off now, like this is what I'm saying,
Tennessee.
Tampa Bay loss. Cincinnati W.
Okay.
Buffalo loss. Miami, I think.
Buffalo games.
Okay, yeah. Miami, I think they lose.
Houston.
They go 0-2. Houston.
Oh, you think they go 0-2 against Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they win both in New England.
Oh.
Houston. I mean, that's a toss-up.
Without Deshaun, I think that's a win.
Yeah, without Deshaun, it's definitely a win. But
it's a win. Deshaun, whether or not he goes to the Jets,
he's not going to be on the Texans.
Right, exactly.
What if Matt Staff goes to the Texans?
That's a good question, but I doubt Matt Stafford's going to want to go from the Lions to the Texans.
Yeah. Next team up, you might go to Indy.
Indy.
Right. Who you got left on that schedule?
Indy's a loss because Phillip Rivers is retired. They're going to get a new quarterback.
Better quarterback,
probably. Denver.
Exactly.
Denver
W.
Okay.
Atlanta, I'll skip for now. I'll do Carolina. I think they're definitely going to win that. And then Atlanta, they're a very hit or miss team, But I'm going to go with the loss here.
Okay.
All right, so what do you got for what was that overall record right there?
I think it was like 7-9 or 6-10.
Count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7-9.
7-9.
7-9.
I mean, but there's like 2 or 3 games that are toss-ups,
Listen, if the Jets go 7-9
that's impressive.
Without another quarterback named Deshaun Watson, I think that's a very impressive season for them. Dylan, I want you to write down the Giants. So we got their home opponents. I am considering this with the Giants having Saquon back and at least having one more receiver because that's a given. Even if they don't draft one, they sign one. Because if they don't, then what is Gettleman doing? I hope he's fired on the spot. So I was just considering they have a wide receiver one. I'm going Atlanta. I think that's a win. I'm going Carolina, which I think is another win, unless Carolina goes into the market and they get a good quarterback, because I think they're in the market for that. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is the answer. The Raiders are obviously having some internal troubles. Derek Carr isn't even. We don't even know if he's a starter. Who knows with John Gruden.
Got a win or
The
loss?
win on the Raiders. I think we beat the Broncos. I don't think there's much explanation. I'll give the Rams. I'll give that a loss. And then I think we sweep the division at home. So I think we beat Dallas. I think we beat Philly, and then we beat the Redskins at home.
You think we?
At home.
right.
At home. Away, Chiefs. I don't even think we have to discuss that. Obvious loss for obvious reasons. Chargers. I think Herbert takes a step forward. I think we lose that one. I think the Bucs is another loss. The Saints, I give to the Giants. I think they win that. A lot of question marks in the Saints organization right now. The Bears, I think we take. I'll give a loss to the Cowboys, a win to the Eagles, and a loss to the Redskins. I'm sorry, if the Redskins do not get a new quarterback and they draft one, I give the Redskins a win. If they do, a loss. So as of now, I'll give that a win because they do not have that new quarterback. So I think we sweep the Redskins and
All
the
right,
Eagles.
Alessio, going back on your point on Derek Carr being a starter, he had 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions on the year.
Yeah, but he did not play. He had a
I
great
think he's
first half
very
of the
underrated.
season. I think he had a great first half of the season, but I wouldn't be surprised with John Gruden if he continues playing the way he did at the end of the season. If he's benched by the end of the year, you got to remember they have Marcus Mariota as their backup.
Yeah.
Marcus
Mariota showed some potential.
I think he's a bottom tier starter when he is a starter, but I don't think they give. I think they give Derek Carr a short leash. I really do.
What game did he play against? Was it Dolphins?
It was the Chargers.
It was Chargers. He was going off.
Yeah. Wait. So Dylan, what do you have that Giants overall record?
You that prediction you just made was at 10-6.
Yeah. That's what I expect them to be at 9-7, 10-6. I think anything below 8-8 for the Giants, I think that's a failure of a season.
Yeah.
Based off of what they showed this year and the strength of schedule. But definitely 9-7, 10-6 as a Giants fan, you'll take.
Yeah, I have them at 9-7.
That's probably winning the division, quite honestly. And you never know what can happen in the playoffs from there, especially if Daniel Jones is playing well.
I mean, that just goes back to our record. We don't know. Like, if Daniel Jones is going off, Orby's horrible. We could be 3-13. No clue.
Now I wanted to talk about the funny story about DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson putting themselves a bunch above D-Hop. And look, I think everyone can appreciate the confidence they have in themselves. I don't think anybody takes them seriously when they say they're above DeAndre
Definitely
Hopkins.
Not.
Definitely not.
He does it every year.
I mean, if they said they were both top 10, like, that's respectable. But above D-Hop, like, come on.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think D-Hop said he was upset with the disrespect. I don't think he really should have any reason to be upset. It's 2 players' rankings. Everyone and their mother knows that DeAndre Hopkins is at least a top 3 guy.
Than anything. I mean, I haven't seen the list for myself. I've just saw that
he was put number 3 by DK and number 5 by Justin Jefferson.
And I assume Tay was in front of both of them, and you always
Devontae was put number 5 by DK. DK put himself at number 2, and Julio at number 1. Yeah, see, I mean, it's a list no one's going to take seriously. Does anyone genuinely believe that list? No. I don't really think it's a big deal. I'm glad they're confident in their abilities, but no, they're not top 5 yet. Neither of them. Chiefs versus Bucks, obviously the Super Bowl matchup that everyone's excited for, whether you like the teams or not. They both Tom Brady.
GOAT versus future GOAT.
GOAT versus future GOAT.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly. Out with the old, in with the new.
Well, that's what, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. I think if Patrick Mahomes goes out and he beats the Bucks, it's officially the start of a new era in football.
Yeah.
They're
It's-
both dynamic offenses. I give both great defenses. I give the edge to the Buccaneers defense. Their D line's great. They have a great secondary that's playing very well in the playoffs. And then of course you have Tom Brady matching up against Patrick Mahomes, two
yeah.
of the best right now in the playoffs at least. I mean, Tom Brady's not the second best quarterback in the NFL, but playoff wise, I think you'd want him on your team.
Chiefs defense doesn't get enough credit though. They don't.
Chiefs defense is very good.
They don't get nearly as enough credit as they deserve. That they lock down offenses.
Yeah, I mean, similar with the Bucks.
No,
could this be a game?
Knows the Bucks. Everyone knows they have a great defense. The Chiefs just their offense is outshined by their.
Yeah.
I mean, their defense is outshined by their offense.
I think the question will become: can that Bucks defense limit Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill? The answer so far, answer so far, at least in the playoffs or when games matter in crunch time, has been absolutely not. Patrick Mahomes seems to move the ball with these, hitting wide open guys. You got two great receivers. I'm considering Travis Kelce a receiver here. Yeah. They know how to play together, and it just looks easy for them. Mahomes is coming off a concussion. He had a foot injury. He didn't seem to be having any problems against a very good Bills.
It doesn't even look like they're trying sometimes.
Right. It does. Exactly. So I think that'll be a great matchup, and I'm pulling for Patrick Mahomes. I'm a big Patrick Mahomes fan. I think we can start the new era of football.
Yeah.
After this one. Not saying Tom Brady will be down and out. He still has a year or two left in Tampa Bay, but I think if he loses this one to the Chiefs, you start to see a shift in the NFL towards the young guys, especially in the AFC. The AFC is filled with the young guys.
Yeah.
But yeah.
NFC's got all the old heads. AFC's got young rising stars.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So Dak Prescott, I personally think it's a given. He's back to the Cowboys. I don't really see
much needed to be said there. That's a given.
Yeah.
I think that's very easy.
Trevor Lawrence is a Jaguar. He's already a Jaguar.
Oh, yeah, sure. They got Urban Meyer said he wanted to coach Trevor Lawrence. If they got Urban Meyer, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. The brief stint of recency bias after the college football semifinal was absolutely ridiculous. Oh, maybe Ohio State is obviously going with Trevor Lawrence. The guy's been the consensus number one pick since his freshman year. You know, we had teams literally fighting to lose just to get Trevor Lawrence, and just because he got outplayed one game in a game where Trevor Lawrence didn't even play poorly, come on, give me a break.